Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Michelle's vlog, and we started the week off with a floor press. I skipped the one where she went a little heavier because she had an overzealous spotter and it's hard to tell really what happened with it, but that was a 145. She put that up very, very easy. Notice we are using the wider grip now. Same thing with these floor presses for rep work, which we did next. We have her shoulders strong enough and healthy enough that she's a lifter who couldn't do wider grip without pain. Now she's able to do wider grip. We're going to develop the muscles around it, and we're going to get both her wide grip and her close grip up. And the idea here is the hope that she'll get more out of her total on the bench if we can get this wider grip stronger. Because in theory, it should always be able to move more weight. I've historically moved more weight close grip. But, you know, when you look at it, there are things you can do to fix those weak links involved that causes that. You know, a lot of it has to do with just bringing up your pecs more, right? And that lets you use a wider grip. And, again, get the most out of it when you max. And it's kind of the other way around. We don't necessarily always use the wide grip bench to build those areas because you can't just beat on the same exercise all the time. You will eventually get overuse issues, you'll eventually regress. So after the floor presses, she did JM presses, and yeah, she's started adding weight to it. She's like, oh my God, they're killing my triceps. But she has great range of motion. She's able to use a very heavy weight, and it's largely, I think, because, not only because we did all that tricep tendon work ahead of time with the bands, but because she's close grip bench for so long. She's very tricep dominant, triceps are very strong. But, you know, we will correct that. All right, afterwards, she does chin-ups, which she's quite good at, so I've let her return to doing the chin-ups for a bit. And again, we don't want to overuse these things. We have to be careful with supine grip movements. Overuse can become a problem. Look how many bodybuilders have elbow inflammation, forearm inflammation, bicep tears. You know, I think it's pretty obvious. And as you guys know, I mean, curls cause more bicep tears than deadlifts do, according to the surgeons who repair them. They're not even close to each other. You know, but everyone's scared of the deadlift, right? Nobody's scared of a curl. Curls hurt people a lot, very frequently. And again, it's just overuse, bad form, those things you have to watch for. She does one-arm dumbbell rows after the chin-ups, and then we get in and we do her shoulder work, which we finish with. All right, lateral raises, and here's the thing some people are noticing, I'm noticing as well, she's noticed it. Notice how much thicker she's getting since in the months that I've had her. Okay, she was always pretty strong, but the thing is, her last trainer didn't have her do any real hypertrophy work. Everything was just main exercises, heavy assistance work. We didn't always see this sort of stuff being done. You know, we didn't see all the high rep dumbbell work and everything else. So, accordingly, she didn't get the muscle mass that she always wanted or needed to progress. So we're going to keep getting her thicker while staying in the same weight class. All right, had her do safety bar pause squats. She ended up getting to 230, which is pretty decent. Again, much more difficult bar. Afterwards, we do good mornings with a safety bar. All right, good mornings with a safety bar. Again, one of our primary hip hinge exercises. And yes, I'm aware we have multiple of those in this, and some of it could be redundant, but the thing is, she can handle a little more volume than most lifters, and quite frankly, we need the posterior chain work. Her quads and things are decently strong. They actually tend to be stronger than her posterior chain, so we really need all this low back work, glute work, hamstring work, which we'll see on her reverse hypers. They've gotten a lot stronger. I've let her just, I took the brakes off basically and said, look, reverse hyper what you can. And she did. So we'll see that at the end of the video. All right, goblet squats, which, you know, the more I prescribe these to clients, the more I realize I could benefit myself from doing these again. I only did them for a short phase. I prescribe them a lot, which you guys know from the vlogs, depending upon the needs of the lifter. But, you know, I'm seeing so much good stuff in my own clients who do these, not just the ones here. I have 2 clients who have the transformer bar from Duffin, and I let them use the goblet squat setting on it, and it's pretty solid also. That's one of those things where, again, not to advertise for the bar, because I like Chris. We get along great. He sent me free stuff before. But for people who are doing conjugate, that is probably the ultimate barbell. It is the ultimate barbell, because you can literally do so much with it for just rotating maxes, for your dynamic work, rotating that, your supplemental lifts, good mornings, the goblet squat setting, all that stuff. It just brings so much to the table. So after that, of course, she finishes off with glute ham raises and reverse hypers, which again, classics for me. You guys know how I feel about these exercises. If I had my way, every gym in the world would have 3 glute ham raises and 3 reverse hypers. If I had my way, all of my clients would do both these movements. We can't always have our way though, unfortunately. It would be nice. It'd be nice if more gyms understood the value of these things, not just strength gyms and athletic gyms, and everyone put them in. In fact, I'd venture to say you'd get a lot more women at those gyms if you put those in, because a lot of them really care about the posterior chain. A lot. They care about it as much as men care about biceps. And notice I said men. Because guys, I hate to break it to you, the women aren't really that worried about your biceps. Other dudes are, that's it. So, speed bench, because the percentages we're using, I'm having her do 5x5s now. She pretty much has to use the empty bar plus chains, and that's fine. I told her just get the speed high. I want to see the speed really high, and I want you to have perfect recovery from it so you can move on to do other lifts. Shouldn't be taxing. All right, afterwards we do flat dumbbell presses. Again, need to work on bringing up her pecs for the wider grip bench. And she's got these pronated in, which is my go-to for anyone with a history of shoulder issues. But we may talk about turning those pinkies out a little bit in the future for her, if her shoulders can accommodate it. Mainly just because the stretch on that middle pec is so much different. If you can get the pinkies out, there is that deeper stretch. It's just that with the pinkies in, while we still get a great chest exercise, it's very shoulder friendly for people who have issues there. But I don't know that she has shoulder issues anymore regarding chest pressing. Just incline that hurts her. All right, after that, more JM presses, because again, we need to keep building her triceps up. I'm very partial to this movement. I've had a love-hate relationship. There were times in the past where I said, you know what, I don't think the JM press brings that much to the table. Any other tricep exercise could replace it. Maybe Wendler's right, except that all my strong benchers tend to be good at JM presses. And, I could deny that all I want. I was doing them again for a short time when I hit my biggest benches last phase. As I was adding in all that band exercises. I almost think that that's our winning combination for triceps. But we do have to rotate things from time to time. So I don't want people to just focus on, 2 exercises only. But there are variations of the JM press we can do. All right. Letting her do more chins here, which again, she can just crank these things out. She's very good at chin-ups. Again, a lot of the women are admiring here. A lot of them are, because a lot of them set goals of being able to do 1. She does 3 sets for decent reps. So again, that puts her at a very, very high tier as far as that goes. All right. 1-arm dumbbell rows, which we follow up with to work the rest of the upper back a little bit more, because the chin-ups are slightly more biased towards the lats. So again, 1-arm dumbbell rows. And the reason I kind of like this movement, for those who don't get it, it has to do with the stretch of it. You can just get such a longer range of motion. Also, there's the grip component to it. It's a great grip training tool on top of it. All right. Afterwards, we do a little more shoulder work. So in this case, I have her do some plate front raises, which again, I like these a lot. These are some mainstays. A lot of people will notice there's definitely lifts I'm very partial to with my lifters as far as supplemental work, even if I rotate other stuff in from time to time. plate front raises, particularly for people who aren't doing quite as much pressing volume as I might like for recovery reasons or whatever. I really like the plate front raise. It brings a lot to your bench press. It's a very, very bench specific lift. And the carryover is very good, particularly out of the bottom of the bench, right? For people who get stuck close to the chest, plate front raises, fantastic exercise. And of course, she does her band press downs. And but notice in those clips there, notice the upper body thickness. Her whole shoulder girdle, everything's getting thicker, right? She's gotten leaner, she's gotten bigger. That's what we want to see. In my advanced lifters, that's kind of the goal. We want to get thicker, we want to get leaner. Okay? That's how we win in weight classes, and that's her goal. That is her goal, win in the weight class. All right, she's getting better at the box squats. Notice the ability to sit back, but I've her doing 5x5 on these now. So again, running them against chains. We'll eventually work some band work in. But she's getting used to the chains, letting her get used to chains, understand how to use them, and then we'll throw a wild card at her later, make her learn to use bands also. All right, same thing for the speed deadlift, similar percentages. We're running a low percentages on this. This is very, very light with a lot of chain, and running 5x5 on it with short breaks. I can do this to her because her conditioning is so high. She has a lot of sled work. She's a former boxer. It helps. But again, you have to be in shape to run that protocol decently well. You need to be in shape. All right, up next, we have good mornings with the safety bar. Again, stable for her right now. And then we have the goblet squats. And I'll adjust these again. If I feel that her posterior chain catches up, we can go over to 2 squat type movements and 2 posterior chain based movements. Not that squats don't work part of the posterior chain, they're just not entirely. They don't work our low back, they don't work our hamstrings to the same extent. But they do work glutes. And the goblet squats should work glutes. All right, so she does her goblet squats here. And then afterwards, we finish up with reverse hypers and glute ham raises. I pulled the glute ham raise footage because this video is getting really long. But the reverse hypers, she PR'd. She's like, I went ahead and went up to 2 plates a side, and she got it, right? Increasing that weight, letting her get strong at that. Just like with a lot of my people, I tell them over time, we do a lot of volume, then I want them to work on getting strong on the reverse hyper. The problem is my people who have the scout hyper, my men, they can't. And a lot of people have that. A bunch of my people have it in their home gyms, and it's great. We still have a great rehab tool, great prehab tool. We can't use it as a serious mass builder on the level that I would like for, glutes and erectors and everything, because we just can't load it heavy enough. You really need the bigger full-size units. But I would still rather them have that compact one than nothing. Still rather them have it. But yeah, so she's PRing on this. We've got good control, 2 plates aside. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.